Hey everybody, Asian Fahzaly Gamer here. I just want to take a second, put out a small disclaimer to let you all know that I am not a mental health professional. I just want to do my best to be able to help others with my own experience, and at the very least, hope to be able to point people in the right direction if they do need help. And of course, I also want to remind people that we do go into very heavy and potentially triggering subjects. So that is something to be considered. But I do appreciate your support for you being here. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Fahzaly Advice. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fahzaly Advice. I want to start this off, of course, by saying thank you to all of you for your views, for your support. I truly do appreciate it. And of course, for those of you who are new and you're wondering how you can support me as a content creator, well, it's as simple as like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more. But of course, you simply being here and viewing is also contributing. So thank you for all of your support. And thank you to our submitters. For without you, there would be no podcast. And for anybody out there that is interested in submitting to Fahzaly Advice, wait until the end of this episode for more information. Now, let's get into our first submission, shall we? This one is brought to us by Broken, and they write, Dear Fahza, I am a goddamn mess, and I don't know what to do here. I recently was broken up with, and I can't take this. I feel lost. I feel broken. I am so fucking angry and sad. I just want to break something. She broke up with me because apparently she found someone else that she, quote unquote, vibes with more. Like, what the fuck is that? I love this girl, and I gave everything to this relationship, and she just tells me, nah, I'm good? I really am lost here, Fahza. Do you have any words for me, because I am just drowning right now? Sincerely, Broken. Well, Broken, my friend, I'm going to tell you a few things that we don't see on TV, and a few things that are a reality that we all have to face ultimately. 1. There will be disappointments in life. And whether or not you want to, whether or not you're ready to, you have to accept them, because there's nothing you can do to change it. 2. You are not in control of anyone. So you cannot control what they do, nor are you at fault for the actions that they choose to take that you did not incite. Now, when it comes to breaking up with someone, there are a lot of things that need to be remembered. It is natural to feel sad. It is natural to feel broken. You have something in your life that has changed drastically, and that has its emotional impact on everyone. No matter what anybody says, no matter how strong they think they are, it will affect them. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And right now, you are in the throes of sadness, of despair, because all of this just occurred. So there are some things that I'm going to say here that you are not ready to accept. But I want you to come back to this video when you are ready. When that will be, who knows? But you cannot change what happened. And this person isn't coming back. And even if they do, they shouldn't. Because the disregard that they have shown here has shown that they do not care about you. And their willingness to do so and show you this in their actions showcases that if they were to come back, the only thing that they're looking for is a scapegoat for their feelings. Not a relationship, not a partnership, just simply to use you for the emotional needs that they have at that moment. And you deserve better than that in a relationship. Everyone does. And you need to accept that. Whether or not you're ready to now is to be seen. But anybody who's going through a breakup, who has gone through a breakup, needs to realize that there is some form of finality to that situation, despite what was said and what may come in the future. That relationship, for all intents and purposes, is over. And how it ends dictates what will happen in the future, because it showcases who they are as a person. How you do everything speaks volumes to who you are as a person, despite how small it may seem. And if someone is willing to disregard you in one instance, that shows how much regard they will have for you in the future. People can change, for sure, but at their core, certain things are concrete, and certain things will reveal what that person is at that core. And you need to be ready to take that information and realize it. Because if you don't, the future will only hurt you so much more. Because you're only willing to blind yourself to what you want without realizing what you need. And that is a difficult truth to face, especially when you want something so bad. But what we want isn't always what's right for us. And it takes time to learn and to accept that. And I'm sorry that this hurts. I am sorry that you feel broken right now, my friend. But something that you will come to realize sooner or later is that love, relationships, connections hurt. But they are finite in their nature in one way or another. Be it through the passage of time, through the fickle nature of certain people, or simply through life itself. We know not what the future holds, and Murphy's Law is always at play. The adaptability of our mentality and our physicalness, our physical wholeness, is something that we have strength in. And it might not seem like that at the time, especially when we're hurting. It's hard to see what will happen next. But it's important to realize that you are still breathing. You are still living. And the future is vast and wide. And as daunting as that might seem, it is rife with opportunity. For what may come may be gracious, may be painful, but it is part of what life has to offer. And you will not see it if you choose to sit here and wallow. It's okay to be sad. It's part of processing our emotions. But we cannot become our emotions and allow it to rule our lives. So realize, my friend, you feel broken now, but you are not broken for the future. Live, exist, feel this pain, because the only way that you will get through it is to get to it, to feel it, to exist in it, and then it will go to pass. It won't stop hurting. There will be a part of you that will always be scarred by what we suffer over. But that scar can be a memory and a lesson, or it can be something you wallow on and continue to remember as something as easy as present day, but that will do nothing for you. And remember, I said it earlier. Everything I said here, more than likely, is not something that you are ready to accept now, because you feel this broken, you feel angry, you feel slighted, and it's unfair. And the only thing you want to be is by their side, but they don't want you, and that hurts. But you have to realize that right there, that hurt is reason enough for you to eventually move on, for you to realize that you deserved better, that there is more love in the world for you to have than to wallow in the hurt that you feel. It won't all make sense. When it comes down to it, or more often than not, life is not meant to make sense. It's meant to be experienced. It's meant to be lived, for better or for worse. And though you may not believe me, you're gonna be just fine, my friend. You are. And I'm sorry it hurts. I know I said that before, but I want you to know that you're not alone, that there's nothing wrong with what you're feeling. Just don't let it become you. Don't let it take over. Feel it. Go through it. Live it. And then move on. You're strong enough to do that. You are. I appreciate your submission. And I do hope for a better future for you. I truly do, my friend. Now, I hope that you found value in what I said, and to our viewers as well. Now, before we move on to the next submission, though, let's have a small commercial break, shall we?
Well, hey there, everybody. Did you know that Agent Fahzaly Gamer has a Patreon?
That's right, everybody, and we're here to tell you about it together.
Subscribers have a chance to see content early, as well as request content on higher tiers.
That's right. You can ask Agent Fahzaly Gamer to read you a story, talk to you about lore or gameplay, or many other things.
But wait, there's more.
Subs that have been stayed around for 3 months or longer get special gifts. And if we reach our stretch goal of 10 subs or more, we will continue to add more to the Patreon, making it better for all of you.
So please consider, at the very least, checking out Agent Fahzaly Gamer's Patreon. Maybe subscribing and supporting him. And of course, we thank you for your time.
Hey, everybody. Mr. Announcer and Random Skull are here to tell you about something amazing.
That's right. We have a merch store known as the AFG Brand Store, where you can purchase many different things.
Do you want a tin cup? Do you want a water bottle? Do you need a shirt? Do you need other things? Things that make you so that you support Agent Fahzaly Gamer? Well, check out the AFG Brand Store.
But wait, there's more.
That's right. We are going to be continuing to add to the merch store. On the monthly, we'll be adding in new designs, as well as, of course, introducing discounts for all of you.
So check out the AFGBrandStore.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, I hope everybody enjoyed our first submission and found value in what I had to say. And I do appreciate those of you that had made it this far in the episode, and I thank you. And of course, I do have to mention once again, if anybody out there does want to support me as a content creator, it's as easy as like, comment, and subscribe for more. Now, let's get into our second submission, but before we do so, I'm going to give some context. This is not normally a submission that I would actually have read or have done But a good friend of mine is the reason why this submission was made. And their request was that I do read it. And I do give my 2 cents on the situation as a whole. So keep that in mind as we go into this submission, as my response might not be what you're expecting. Now, let's get on into it, shall we? This one is brought to us by Brooklyn Boy. Hey there, Faja. I gotta be honest. I'm only submitting here because my buddy says you give good advice. And he said that he would be pretty interested in what you have to say about it. Now, I got a bit of an issue that I don't know how to handle. My sister, see, has this boyfriend. Let's call him Fred. He is kind of a loser, if I'm being honest. He doesn't have a job. He says he is a content creator and all that, but I haven't heard of him, and I just don't think he's a good fit for my sister. Now, my sister adores him to the point where she is actually in a month going to move in with him, which I think is a bad idea. I mean, the guy plays video games for a living. I don't think he can give my sister the life she deserves. But I don't know how to tell her that, or what to do here, because that dude just gets on my nerves. What do you have to say about this? Sincerely, Brooklyn Boy. Oh boy. So, yeah, like I said earlier, the reason why I'm responding to this is due to Brooklyn Boy's friend. Now, Brooklyn Boy, if you do watch this episode of Fahzaly Advice, which I do believe you are going to be doing at recommendation of your friend, this is something that is more than likely due to the fact that your friend wants you to get this message through your head. And I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. Brooklyn Boy. First off, this is a little bit weird because she's your sister. She can be with whoever the hell she wants to be. You have zero, and I do mean zero, control over that. And that is something that you need to accept because you have control over no one. People have autonomy, and you need to respect that. That might be something hard for you to hear because it seems like you're not someone who's used to people exercising their autonomy. And that is nobody's problem but yours, Brooklyn Boy. Now, to get into the meat and potatoes of your submission, when it comes to more than likely what your friend wanted me to address with your submission, the person that you cannot stand is a content creator. Just because you haven't heard of them does not take away from the fact that they do content for a living. And from what your submission can tell me, and I can assume, and actually I know of because your friend actually told me, that particular content creator has their own home. They have a rent-controlled apartment in New York City. The feat of that alone in the cost and the fact that he's able to afford that as a content creator says a lot about how successful that particular content creator is. You obviously have zero idea because you probably don't think content creation is an actual job. But they have a home and they are able to give your sister a place and a roof over their head and someone to love. What can you give her? Think about that. Because if you answer anything other than a caring older brother, that's going to be kind of creepy. But I realize why your friend wanted me to talk about this, because your friend is also a content creator. And I want you, Brooklyn Boy, to realize that content creators are not any less of a person because of the career that they choose to do. It's the same as a career that you would choose to do. The only difference is there's nobody backing us. We do all of it ourselves more often than not until we get a sponsor, until we get to a point where we have more than just ourselves producing, editing, making content, and recording. And though you may not see that as a job, that's really not for you to decide, is it? And just because someone gets on your nerves doesn't mean that they're bad for your sister. They probably get on your nerves because they're doing something and they're enjoying their life. And you are squirming on the inside because they do not fit into your definition of success. But here's the thing that we all have to ultimately accept. Nobody is alive to fulfill our expectations. It doesn't matter how a stranger chooses to live. If it's not harming anybody or themselves, and they are enjoying their life, or they're simply living and existing, we have no right to judge. Anything else is purely asinine and egotistical. To think otherwise is also egotistical, because your definition might work for you, but your definition is not so important that it supersedes anybody's autonomy. It never does, and it never will, Brooklyn boy. And your sister adores this person. Nothing in what you have sent me states that this person is abusive, that this person is toxic. The only thing that you have stated in your submission is that this person does not fit your definition. And I'm sorry, but the world isn't here to fit into your little definition. And you're going to need to accept that. Because we all do. We have no control over the actions that other people take. We have no control over the world and how it turns. The only thing that we have control over is ourselves. That's it. And that's something that you need to realize. That will help this process be so much easier. Because she's going, my friend. She's leaving. And there's nothing you can do about it. And if it's not with him, it will be with someone else. And whether or not you will be privy to her life, well, that will be based on the decisions that you make and the person that you are. And it's like the saying and the song goes, hold on loosely. Because if you hold too tightly, you might just lose control. Remember that, Brooklyn boy. Because you have no control here. And I do hope that you understand that what I'm telling you is not to insult you. It's not to talk down to you. It's to tell you a truth that you have to accept, that we all have to accept about the people around us. We have no control. The only thing we can do is control ourselves. Remember that, Brooklyn boy, as you move forward through life. Because I truly do hope that this will be a moment where you can grow, where you can learn, where you will not be so obstinate that you won't hear the message that needs to be heard. Because if you don't blame anyone when the people that you love start to leave you. Because it's not their fault that you are incapable of being patient, kind, and compassionate to anyone but people who fit into your narrow little view. Remember that, Brooklyn boy. Truly. Now, I do hope that you enjoyed this episode of Fahzaly Advice, and I appreciate all of you for your views, for your support, for your likes, for your comments, your shares, and all. Thank you so very much, and of course, a shout out and thank you to our Patreon subs, to Minimoto TV, Gaisaphage, and Audacia. Thank you so much for your support, because with your submission and your subscription, I can continue to do this and hopefully rise higher and further. Thank you all so much, and now it's time for this love train to get rolling on through. Choo choo. I love every single freaking one of you. Well, everybody, that's the end of Fahzaly Advice. I hope you did enjoy this episode and you found some value in what I said. And of course, if you are interested in participating, if you need some advice or some perspective, feel free to email the address at the end of this part. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Need some perspective? Need some advice? Want your submission read on podcast? Well, email Fahza at fahzalyadvice@gmail.com. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous unless requested upon.